hi Melissa, Star Illumination. Thank you so much for being here. So I'm going to get started just doing an introduction doodle and then an astro doodle for the day so that we've got a reference point for all of us, okay? So just bear with me, it'll take a few minutes, at least a few minutes. So let's do this, okay. Okay, so now I'm going to add some fun colors and then we'll start hanging out. Okay, so bear with me. If you've seen this before, you know what's going to happen. There we go. Hold on, what's happened? Hold on. Oh man, sorry, I'm getting all screwed up here. Give me a second. I want to, let's see, go over here. Okay, that's better. Hello, Tina. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let me put some post-it notes out quickly. All right, that's enough for now. So let's get to it. Let's see what we got here. And I'll put this over here. Just arranging things a little bit. Hold on. All right, so here we are. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Heather. Hello, Path. Hello, Melissa. Hello, Ivona. And hello, Gregory. If you're not watching, I still got it. Thank you, Tina. Thank you very much. I hope I got everybody's name up there. And just in case there's some new folks hanging out, let me put up a little notice here for everybody. I'll come back to this in just a second. This is, of course, the Lumination patented Astrodoodle. Yay! Just for today. Just for today, as they say. So this is announcing, of course, world famous. Yeah, it's not so bad tonight, Pat. Not quite so bad. Not quite as bad, yeah. Welcome, everyone. Any newcomers, you're very welcome to hang out. You've probably figured out that this is a place where you get a mini live tarot reading. So what you do is basically, by donation, your name goes here. Basically, you buy yourself a very expensive post-it note for about $10, and then, by chance, you get a free mini reading. That's how it works. So I'll put that over here. And I'll put these over here as backup. So this is just to have it on the page because I don't have lots of fancy editing here. This is live, of course. Mini readings. By donation. Okay, so we got that. Thank you very much, everybody, so far. And it is the 22nd November, just for the records, okay? 2020. And we started at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, USA. Broadcasting from sunny Las Vegas. All right, so there we go. Hello, Maria. Hey, Maria, we still have to follow up, okay? So everybody here, this is where we are tonight, right now. Thank you very much for being here. I'll keep this handy. And this is the Astrodoodle for this evening. There's other things going on, but let me just point out the planets. First of all, we have Mars in Aries at about 18-20 degrees. We have Uranus in Taurus. We have the North Node in Gemini. We have Venus in Libra. We have Mercury in Scorpio. And we have the Sun just moved into Sagittarius. And we have the reality check police. The usual suspects are here in a very, very, very tight conjunction. Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter. If you could see it in the heavens right now, you would see, and I have actually seen it, you can actually see Saturn and Jupiter very close together in the sky. And right in the middle of it is Pluto. Of course, you can't see Pluto from here. But anyway, this is what it looks like. This is for the whole of planet Earth. We've talked about this before. This could be anywhere, depending on your rising sign, depending on your sun sign. All those things factor into it, but essentially this is the sacred geometry on the massive scale, on the, let's say, on the scale of the collective. Let's call it for planet Earth. Now, just a few basic things. These indications here, these are sextiles. This is a nice trine. This is a nice sextile. So luckily, these are harmonious aspects that are softening things up. Just for a very short period of time, because we've had some very bumpy, tough alignments recently with all the planets in Libra opposing Aries. And, well, actually, we still have this. I'm just going to put, I'm sorry, I can't not put this. It would be irresponsible of me not to put this in here. we still have ongoing for the rest of the year. We still have Mars in Aries, hard squaring all the Capricorn energy, okay? So I look at this as violent self-expression in very unharmonious, very, let's say, combustible ways, okay? Over here, this is still extremely strong. This is the energy of what I would call fraud, and it's affecting the whole world on a global scale. Everyone is starting to become aware that there's a lot of fraud going around the planet right now. Fake people, fake news, fake elections, all sorts of stuff. You believe whatever you want. I believe what I want. I'm calling out as fraud, and it's becoming evident across the world, but it's not being reported much in the United States. Over here we have this very uncomfortable aspect between Venus and Libra energy and all the Capricorn energy. So relationships are under a lot of pressure in general, okay? But here, this is the one that interests me, okay? This is another Yod. It's a fleeting thing, you know? It will shift, but right now there's a tremendous emphasis on the North Node. The North Node is in Gemini right now, okay? And we're heading up to the eclipse in about a week from now, where the sun will be in Sagittarius, roughly here, and the moon will be right here in Gemini. So the nodal axis here to here is going to be very strongly emphasized for the whole of planet Earth, and that just happens to coincide in a very, let's say, awkward way with the President of the United States. So please allow for things to become very, let's say, volatile and unstable in American politics over the next few months, especially as it gets, I would say, polarized and personalized, especially like a lot of fingers are going to be pointing at Donald Trump. Cameras and lights, and some people will demonize him and some people will praise him. But either way, it's a lot of pressure, and I think a lot of it is to do with the touching on the very awkward subjects of fraud. Now, these happen on a global scale, but it's also personal. How are you relating with your loved ones? How are your loved ones relating with you? Are you being true and open, honest and transparent? Very simple, clear, direct communications with your loved ones? Are they being very clear and direct in their communications with you? Or is there a lot of fakery going on, like smiling when you're angry, or being quiet when you need to speak up, or putting yourself down when you should stand strong, or putting down somebody when it might be better if you set yourself aside? All those kinds of things, okay? Yes, we are in Saggy season right now. Thank you very much. So that probably lightens it up too, makes things a little bit more fun. And we're heading into the holidays too. Let me just check in with everybody personally now over here. Let's have a look. So, give me a second. I'm just checking in. There we are. Good evening, everybody. This is Tarot Illumination. It is Sunday night here in Las Vegas, 22nd November 2020. The moon is in Pisces right now tonight. Actually, let me finish. I'll go back to that, and I'll finish that in a second. What was it? There are some very strange things that popped up on the news and things today. What I'm doing is I'm trying to streamline my social media so I only get the little nuggets that I truly need, and I do a lot of filtering rather than a lot of consuming. So basically what lands in my consciousness, what lands on my screen of awareness here is exactly what I need to be aware of, nothing more and nothing less. And I don't like fake stuff. I like things to be very direct, simple, and straightforward. So I'm filtering a lot of stuff that does not comport with my sense of truth and honesty. And I'm tightening up the filters. A couple of things that popped out. What was it? Let's forget about it. That's something for Wednesday. We'll talk about that another time. Yeah, tonight's show is really it's very personal. It's all about the tarot and a little bit of astrology in the form of astrodoodles mixed in so that you get a sense of reference point. Some of you know. I don't know if are there any new folks here? Almost everybody here that I hello Starzy, hello Nikki. I'm checking out the chat right now, and Tina, and let's see, Fritoli's here, and I know Ivona is here. There's Path Traveler. Hello, hello Maria. Okay, we'll catch up soon, Maria. Okay, I know you had some very serious issues you wanted to follow up. Hello, Heather. You're on the West Coast, sort of. Yep. And did I get everybody? I think so. I think I got some folks. But anyway, if you're new and you've never done this before and you want to get yourself a mini reading, you can use the super chat button. It's very close to where you type. You just press that gray button. It has a $ in the middle. It pops up a payment processor on your screen of your computer, and you can enter your donation that way. You can also, if you want to, if you do PayPal, if you've got a PayPal account, you can donate directly to the Tarot Illumination email over here, which is alittlebookabout@yahoo.com. The other way to get there is kind of go more direct, which is, sorry, not that one. Let me see if I can find it here. Give me a second. Where is it? I need to show you what I need to show you, which would be over here. Give me a second. I'm adjusting some stuff. Let's have a look, see if that works. Yeah. Okay, so you would go to tarotlumination.com and you can find the donate page. You just click the button there and it opens up the PayPal processor. You don't even have to have a PayPal account. You know, you can just do it directly with a card. Okay, you just scroll through. Anyway, let's have a look. Okay, Courtney Aline. Okay. Send it down. Okay, let me just check something here. Stay there, Courtney. I want to go check a few things. I'm going to try and do this without messing up all the technology. Okay, something I saw. Oh, who's that? Wow, thank you. Thank you very much, Tina. Let me go back over here. And I see another donation. There it is. Courtney, thank you very much. Super duper. All right, I can go back over here. Sorry, I'm just clicking around getting settled in to the show, doing things properly. Actually, while I'm here at the stage, let me pencil in the rest of the planets because I forgot to put the moon over here and Neptune over here. So the moon is very close to Neptune right now. So you might be feeling very kind of, let's say, I would say dreamy, a bit sensitive, a little bit vulnerable perhaps, also a bit spacey. If you're feeling like an extra strong connection with heaven or your invisible friends, your spirit guides, your archangels and your angels, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Might as well, you know, make the most of it. So anyway, this is what's going on today. I do private hold on, let me just do this properly. Yes, at Tarot Illumination, I do private consultations if anyone needs one. If you're really shy and you don't want to do this in public and you're brand new, you've never been here before, you've never done this, but you need to connect, then we can do that. You can go to tarotlumination.com and you can figure it out from there, okay? I take bookings and readings. It's all done through PayPal and Zoom. That's the basics of how it works here at Tarot Illumination. Okay? So, let's have a look. Where am I? So, yes, Courtney. Yes, I found your donation. I saw that. Thank you very much. So, you're going to get your Post-it note right now. Give me a second. All right, here we go. Okay. Thank you, Courtney. Very kind. I'll put that one over here. I could probably handle maybe one, maybe two more readings for the evening, but after that, I think that will be full house. So we'll see how it goes. Just see how things go. All right. Let me just tuck that over here to see where we are. Okay, so first up, tonight we have a reading for Mr. Ross, Melissa Lawrence, Tina Miller, Ivona Kokolka, and Courtney. Okay. Oh, thanks, Yvonne. Yay. Actually, you've been here before. I recognize that. Thank you so much. Okay. Let's see. Let's just do this. All right. There we go. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to have a busy evening. And let me just tuck this here. And as some of you know, I will probably be referencing this astrodoodle for tonight regarding the readings, okay? This is not controlling the whole universe and everything. But here, there's something I wanted to share with you today. Okay? Now, this is going to sound a little bit strange, maybe nothing to do with, astrology or tarot or mediumship or readings or anything like that. But I was considering the subject and the energy of gravity today, and how our lives are so completely dominated by this energy that we call gravity. Okay, so for example, there's a gravitational field between planet Earth and the moon. And the moon orbits the Earth, and it's all held into place by the gravitational pull. And in a local sense, like, person to person, or if I'm standing next to somebody in a grocery store, you don't really notice the gravitational pull between yourselves and other people and so on. But this evening I saw one of the little cats struggling. And the cat is very visibly overweight, and it puts a lot of pressure on his little knees and ankles and paws. All the little bones that they have. Puts a lot of pressure on there. And so he has to get up and sit down and lie down, and he gets his body rubs and everything. But what I notice is that when he wants to have a little cuddle and a rub down, he will stand up and then get a little bit wobbly because he can't lower himself properly. So he sets himself up for a fall, and then he just trips himself up and he falls over, kaplunk, like that. And then I thought, wow, that's pretty serious. And then I was doing some work here, and I felt myself, I had to do something on the floor, so I knelt down on the floor, and it was a bit clumsy, and I kind of went clunk onto my knees. And I kept thinking my knees were only like 5 inches above the floor. But when I hit the floor, it really hurt. And that's the energy of gravity. I mean, also another thing is, sometimes I have really, really strange, super vivid, celestial, multicolored, multidimensional dreams. And you can fly and all those kinds of things. You can walk, you can feel things, you can hear things, see things. And I remember when I was feeling really depressed as a little kid, I would go sit like 6 or 7 stories up on a big building, and I would open the window. I would sit right out on the ledge and thinking, no, this is it. I can't take it anymore. My life is useless. I would have been one of those little teenage suicide people. And I kept pondering. I didn't do anything. I'm still here, right? Okay, I'm not going to do anything like that. But when you think about it, you just take a little, an egg out of the fridge or something, and you drop it, and it just goes, and I thought, if that's the power of gravity, just on a little cat, just on an egg or a human body, just imagine the gravitational pull between the Earth and the moon. And then I extended it in my head, and I started really tripping out. Oh my God, what about the moon, the sun and Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto? And I kept thinking, that is an astronomically powerful gravitational field that keeps Pluto orbiting the sun. Our orbit of the sun, we call it 1 year. The Pluto orbit takes 250 years. It's crazy. The lunar orbit, where the moon goes around our Earth, that takes 28 days. And it's a kind of quirky, interesting thing in a lunar calendar. There's pretty much, within a few hours, there's exactly 13 lunar cycles in an astrological year. Okay? To me, that's beautiful. But on a pizza pie chart, it looks very awkward. You try taking a circle and chopping it up into 13 equal slices. It's very awkward. And I think that's what happened in the days of lunar calendars, and when humanity was much closer to Earth and much more tuned into nature. And I would say girl power was much, I would say, stronger, and everything was much more tuned into intuition. You could have done everything by a lunar calendar, you know, farming and watching the moon come and go, wax and wane. But now everything is solarized. It's a male-dominated world. And I wish we could go back to a lunar calendar. I don't have anything. I know you can get them, but they're kind of awkward to work with Western astrology. Anyway, I just wanted to share that weird feeling I had today about gravity and how serious and how powerful it is, and how we're used to it. Our whole physical body is designed and built to withstand the force of gravity. We stand up, we hold our balance against the force of gravity. If somebody surprises us or shocks us, we can fall over or collapse. If somebody trips our ankle, we just go, and it's very, very painful. So anyway, gravity is very powerful. Bubba is outside the front of the studio. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. My heart goes out to little Bubba, and I just want to hang out and cuddle, but we have a show to do. So I'm going to be kind of tough and mean. I'm going to ignore the meowing, and he'll probably get bored and walk away. I gave him an extra big snack early, so he would have a full tummy, but it hasn't made any difference. He still wants to hang out, okay? Yes, virtually. Honestly, the lunar calendars, they make a lot more sense to me, because you don't have these weird things like on a solar calendar. Like we have, 30 days has September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31. So you have these 12 things that we call the month. And in Western astrology, they're all sort of like skewed. Like today, I think the sun, or yesterday, the sun went into Sagittarius. Why does that happen on the 21st? Everything seems kind of skewed. I've tried to study it, but I don't see any good explanations. When you look at a lunar calendar, in a way it's much more pure, because you can observe it from a distance, and it's just beautiful the way it lines up. 13 pieces of pie chart inside the circle, and you could have the 13th sign. Whoa! There's a lot of speculation around that. I can't do that stuff. I don't know much about it, so I don't bother. I think the 12-sign solar system works quite well. But I love the beauty of the number 13 and how it just kind of skews everything up. It pisses everybody off because you can't fit it very, very exactly inside a circle. It doesn't have that very neat kind of quadrant thing. It's just slightly skewed. It's kind of weird. But I love the pattern because the lunar cycles are so easy to watch and measure. And I relate very closely to the lunar cycles myself. Much more than the solar cycles. I mean, I take it all into account, but it's the lunar cycles that I track most closely. And Pluto. There you go. Okay? Thank you, Frittily. Yes, it's not about the snacks. I agree. He just loves to hang out. We spend quite a lot of time together. Today he went outside. He's basically an indoor cat. They have been born and raised as indoor cats. And today he kind of sneaked outside a little bit, started sniffing the air. His nose became very wet. And then he just rolled over onto the concrete and just started rolling over. He was kind of ecstatic. He was very, very happy with all the smells and the sights and everything. So, but anyway, he's back inside now. He can only take so much, you know. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yes, Courtney, gardening and planting. Well, corporate agriculture is not quite so. I mean, with corporate agriculture, Courtney, as far as I can tell, it's just done 24/7. You know, with fertilizers and irrigation and chemicals, just to make it all do whatever it does. Hello. Something just popped in here. Hello, Melanie. Thank you very, very much. I will put that in. That's probably going to be the last reading for this evening, folks. So I'm just going to check in over here. All right. So give me a second. I'm just going to write up a post-it note for Melanie. Thank you, Melanie. And that will be it for tonight. Okay, Bubba wants to be on camera. That's all there is to it. So we'll put this over here, and I'm going to go get Bubba, but then I'm going to have to do a cruel thing and put him back out again because I don't think he'll like to be here in the show. So give me a second. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Stay right there. I know you don't like it when I ignore you. Come on. Come on. All right, he's here. Come on. Come here. Come here. Let's go. Everybody wants to see you. Everybody wants to see Bubba. Here's Bubba. Oh, what is it? We are all antsy. What is it? He's really, really antsy tonight. He's full of beans. I don't know what's got into him. I really don't know. He's like, I think he's got this thing where he thinks there's these bugs everywhere at the corners, in the hallways, and inside the cupboards and around the corners, like little bugs and little mice and things. And I hate to deprive him. Sorry, I couldn't hold him. He didn't want to stay. So usually he's very cuddly, but he's very he's a very chatty catty, and he's a little bit animated this evening. And you know what? I'm just going to leave him there. He'll just stay there, okay? What was that? Oh, the black and white. Bubba's friends are waiting. Okay, so Bubba has decided to bury himself in some cushions, okay? No. Anyway, we'll probably have to have a show just about Bubba. We'll just start the Bubba show, okay? Maybe on Tuesdays or Thursdays. You'll just make it all about Bubba. All right, so let's get on with the work, people. We got work to do here. Okay, what was that? I don't have any snacks for you. If I do, you'll get bored of them. You won't think they're special anymore. All right, so let's have a look. We're going to start with Gregory. We'll come back to those notes in a little bit. I'm going to put all of this stuff away because right now it's just clutter. And we need as much room as possible on the stage for your readings. And it's just more fun and more authentic when we have time to spread out. Okay, so let's leave it at that. We won't take any more tonight. And I wish I could do it on and on, but what I'm thinking of doing is smaller numbers of readings with more shows. Okay, something like that. But for tonight, right now, we're going to start with Gregory. Okay, and then we got Melissa, Tina, Ivona, then Courtney, Yvonne, and Melanie. Okay, so that's how we're going to do it. Okay, so we'll make some room over here. Let me just check the door. Door is good. I just got to check the studio. All right. So, I'm having a few electrolytes this evening. It's blue. It's kind of a quirky swimming pool blue color. It looks sort of like dish soap or something, but it's actually quite good. And it has lots of electrolytes. What was that, Frittily? They could hear little Bubba? Actually, you know what, Nikki? You made a point. Let me just do it. Let me see if I can do it. It's actually kind of difficult. It's actually very difficult for me to draw a 13 pi chart. Actually, I don't know. There's no point in me doing it because I would have to plan out the degrees. Forget it. Forget how I ever said that. Okay. All right, let's have a look. Start with Gregory. Now, Gregory, I don't know if you're watching, but if you are, great. If you're not, don't worry. You're going to see this on your action replay. Okay, blind is great. That's good. I know you've been through a lot recently, Gregory. Like a surge, like a massive surge of stuff to handle. So let's not focus on any one particular subject. Let me just to get a kind of swirly thing. What I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to be kind of resting really heavily on this energy over here. This strong conjunction between the moon and Neptune. It's a very psychic kind of conjunction. For me personally, this is very comfortable, and I'm ignoring this. I'm aware of it, but I'm not going to be a victim of this. I'm aware of this, but I'm not going to let myself be a victim of this because I'm aware. Instead, what I'm going to focus on is simple, clear communications based on tapping into a vast universe of knowledge and wisdom that comes from the Sagittarius South Node, okay? Going from the South Node to the North Node. We are all being impelled to head in this direction on a planetary scale. In other words, simple truth, clarity of communications, facts, information. It's heavily, heavily compromised right now with the energy of fraud, fake, okay? But we're not going to do that here. We're just going to focus on this, the sweet stuff, okay? Here, here, here. And this is very strong, rich, psychic, grounded, earthy energy, okay? All right, here we go. And we're just going to trust in the process. Ooh, Courtney, you know what? Yep, I'm already feeling inspired. I see that. Actually, I have to admit, Courtney, I already have my bottle and glass ready at hand. It's right behind me. I just didn't want to put it on the stage. Okay. Do it on Wednesday too. Oh yeah, well I could. I mean, yeah, I'm really thinking of doing more of these live shows because it's about the only way the channel makes any revenue anymore. And maybe doing like we do the Sunday night, and on Wednesday I get all fired up and I start ranting about politics and global finance and things. But maybe I should like set that aside a little bit more and just treat that as part of my personal life and then just focus on the readings. I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's have a look here. It's funny, like when we do these readings, we've been having, how long have we been doing this? Let me just check. Hold on, Gregory. So we've been kind of doing this stuff for about, what, I think 3 years now? 3.5 years. The channel is still going. It's mind-boggling to me that it's still going. And I've noticed recently, for the chart on Wednesday, whenever. Okay, thanks, Nikki. Thank you very much. Cheers. What was I saying? Oh, I forgot what I was saying. A little bit of amnesia there. Okay, so I guess I better go back. But it was something to do with readings. Oh yeah, right. Because it's become sort of like such a routine for me. It's like a weekly thing. I've been doing it for several years now. We've only missed a couple of shows on the Sundays. I just kind of automatically slip into it. I don't think they're going like, oh my God, we're going to do readings tonight. I have to go into a deep meditation and I have to clear my soul and all of those kinds of things. It doesn't work like that for me. I literally just sort of just, oh, I could be having a snack and the next minute, oh, I'm doing a reading. You know? So I understand what goes on. It becomes a process where it's just an innate process for myself right now. Like before I had the channel, I didn't really want to do this. I could do it because I told you I used to work as a consultant for TV shows and for psychics and mediums and things like that, but I didn't actually want to do anything myself. But anyway, I kind of got pushed into it by my invisible friends, like, you have to do this. Okay, you need to set up a YouTube channel and call it Tarot Lumination and get going. Get your ass in gear. Do something useful for the people. Stop wandering around like a deranged artist, musician, writer, up in the clouds. Think of all that Pisces energy. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, we're making use of it now. Okay? That's the point I was trying to get down to. The moon is in Pisces right now, pretty much conjoined with Neptune, so it's very like what I think of as a very rich, psychically powerful alignment, and it happens to suit me quite well. So I'm just going to roll with it. Okay? So I just wanted to let you know. Thank you, Nikki. Yep. It's a long time. I tell you what, I've learned so much by having this channel and doing all these readings for you guys. Some of the regulars and some of the newbies. I love it all. Some people come and they go. Some people get super enthusiastic and then they just disappear. Some people are slow and steady. It's just different for everybody. Alright, cards are well shuffled. I'm going to cut it up. Very, very simple. You've seen this many times before. It's the Tarot Illumination Situational Spread. It's very simple. Simple is not easy, but at least we have a few simple parameters. Okay? Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. And I don't dress this up or lace it with anything mystical or anything like that. I try to deal with it in a very down-to-earth way as much as I can, and just try to translate the storyline as it comes through. So basically, what are the messages that we have today for Mr. Ross regarding the subject of ... And then we will let the story tell itself. So we have over here the Four of Swords. To me, it feels very simple. Right now, it would be very good opportunity timing. Actually, I'm just going to tuck this up over here if you don't mind. Something like this. My feeling is that you've been going through an awful lot lately. Really kind of tumultuous pressure. And the Sagittarius shift, the Sun into Sagittarius is a shift, okay? I would say it's kind of a welcome shift because that Scorpio season was pretty intense, and it's still pretty intense because we got Mercury and Venus there and so on. So with the Four of Swords here, my feeling is to take advantage of this very brief window in time, literally a window in time, and do what you have to do. You're already in motion. You've got a lot of stuff on your plate. You've got a lot of stuff, let's say, that is active right now. But sometimes it just takes something as really simple as disconnecting just for an evening, or perhaps over the next few days, deliberately taking 10-20 minutes out of the day to take a nap and to heal thyself, okay? Because you're taking care of a lot of people for in multiple different ways, legally, financially, spiritually, emotionally, physically, a lot of work, you've been going back and forth and things. It's really important, like, not to overdo it. Take advantage of this green stuff here, okay? This is really strong. Now, a lot of times, you know, with astrodoodles and astrology in general, a lot of people take for granted all the sweet, harmonious aspects, and they just kind of gobble it up as though it's like free candy or something. And in the end, they're not aware about how incredibly valuable these moments can be in time. And so this will change, this will change, this will change, this will change. But for now, right now, in the very near future, what this is telling me to tell you is, dear Gregory, give yourself a night off, give yourself a break, or maybe just something is sleep in tomorrow morning or for the next couple of days, and, you know, really, really dial back the energy just to give yourself a break, because you're going to need the energy again later on. What's the situation itself? Okay, no question about it. You're really, really in a delicate situation, and I don't see that going away anytime soon. It's just literally trying to deal with reality. I look at this as the reality check police in action, how it's affecting your life. Okay, I'm going to go reference this here. This is an extremely tight conjunction right now with Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter in Capricorn around the 24, 25, 27 mark, 22 to 27. And let's just put that in there. 27 down to 22. And luckily, it's very harmonious with Scorpio energy and a Piscean energy, okay? So that's really sweet, and that bounces off over here to the Taurus energy, so that's nice. But it's still a lot of pressure. So what I'm sensing is that because the pressure is so intense, it's just literally like if you allow your thoughts, your energy, your situations to get the better of you, and you try and use what you would call like three-dimensional, egoic, physical strength kind of processes to deal with your physical reality, you could easily come unstuck. What this feels to me is almost like the energy of having to walk very, very lightly, very, very gently in between the, let's say, the goalposts or the guideposts of everything that you're dealing with right now, like family, business, finances, legal matters, location and moving and travel, business office, managing all that stuff right now. To me, it looks like learning to find, basically it's really important to rest, to get your strength together so that you can literally manage this in a very delicate way, so that to other people and to yourself, it would appear that you're acting in very, very gentle, graceful ways, dealing with matters that are actually extremely heavy and destabilizing. In other words, just one slight degree of imbalance this way actually leads to a huge discrepancy in how it affects you with gravity, okay? Over here, because I was talking about gravity earlier, so I'm relating that story of gravity very closely to this. So in other words, if you lean too far in this direction, then it's very easy to be destabilized and kind of go, whoa, that way. So in terms of your physical reality, your physical body, your mind, remember your sense of balance. Let me do this even more clearly. What I'm sensing is that this is very physical, Gregory, because there's so many, let's say, stressors that you're carrying right now. So just one little thing can tip you off balance. You know, have you ever tried those like yoga tricks, those yoga things where the yoga teacher is testing you to see how, you know, tuned in you are with your body, where you kind of stand up very, very calm and gently. You just stand still, and then you stand on one leg. You slowly lift one knee upwards, and you try to hold your balance. Eventually you find yourself having to hold your arms out to the side. And eventually, if you're lucky, you can find a little bit of equilibrium for a few seconds. But what happens to a lot of people is just that within a few seconds, the body tilts this way or that way, because the force of gravity is so powerful. It only takes a fraction of an inch going this way for the gravity to start pulling that way, or a fraction of an inch this way for the gravity to start pulling that way. So that's kind of what I'm sensing right now with the Two of Pentacles. It's very, very, very delicate. And you would feel it in your body. Like if there's too much pressure, you might feel it here like, or if you get up from bed too quickly, or you turn in your desk or your chair too quickly, it could, set the eustachian tubes off a little bit, the ear balancing, whatever they're called. They're that very, very elaborate cone structure inside your ears that is all to do with keeping your balance. So what I'm sensing here, I guess what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of pressure. You already know that. But you can handle it. The way to handle it is by, I guess, going forward in a very trusting, serene, kind of graceful energy, knowing that you're guided, knowing that you're protected, and that you almost like tune into your senses, almost like you're blindfolded, so that you let your body tell you, like, oh wow, I'm just a little bit too stressed over here. I'm worrying about my brother or my sister or my client or my car or my business a little bit too much. And so it's a very, very delicate balancing act right now, and only you can handle it. You're the only one. Keep your equilibrium. The best way to keep the equilibrium is by taking a break. Okay. Now, what is here? Sorry, I got really carried away there. What are the challenges with all of this? Okay. To me, it feels like, with the be scared, okay? To me, the feeling is like, the problem is like the fear of everything falling apart, obviously, okay. But also, you know what? The Tower, for me, I often see it as one of the most powerful healing cards in the deck, because it sort of has this, left unchecked, it has this whole tendency to just obliterate anything and everything that is irrelevant in your life at the moment, like a person or a relationship or a gadget or a theme or a concept or a belief or whatever it might be, or a fear or an attitude or something. And so, if you're, let's say if you're, because of all the stress factors that are piling up, you could obviously easily translate like a monumental, cataclysmic, all-consuming stressful factor where everything implodes simultaneously. I don't see that, okay? So what I'm sensing is, it's like, the fear is that, like, everything would implode simultaneously. But again, that's just a fear, false evidence appearing real. And instead, it's possible. I'm not going to say this is the cure right now, but the challenge is like seeing how the cure can come out of the disaster. Out of the bad comes the good. Like, I know you're dealing with something very stressful with your brother, for example. It's very traumatic, very challenging. And there's the fear that it could become explosive. It could become catastrophic in some ways for you, the brother, or somebody, or something else. And so be it. If this is how things are, then this is how things are. Everything is exactly as it should be, because it can't be any other way. So, it's like, oh, what's that, Nikki, about? Anyway, sorry. So Gregory, this is understandable, like a fear of some kind of cataclysmic, all-consuming implosion. And it doesn't have to be, but it could be. You could easily see that way. You might, in other words, you might be physically aware of everything that we're talking about right now, but you're just a little bit resistant to take the break and take the hint about taking it easy, because there's so much at hand right now. You're just so there's so much stuff you have to deal with right now. It's like the factors, like, in other words, if I don't deal with it all right now, it's gonna implode. But what I'm suggesting here, what I'm sensing, is that the best thing to do is dial back and kind of get into a very zen, trusting kind of mode, where you just trust and allow that everything will take its natural course, and that which needs to implode will implode, and out of that comes a healing. Okay? But it's scary, because those concepts are very, very scary, because sometimes you can't see the healing, it's almost impossible to conceive of the healing while you're entering or facing a cataclysm. Okay, so how are we going to deal with this? This is like this looks very challenging to me. Okay, we've had something like this before, I'm sure, where you assume the win. In other words, I feel it's my job. I mean, it's going to sound a little bit like I'm a fortune teller or some kind of like psychotherapist, like what do they call it? Like a success coach. Okay, I'm not a success coach. But I do like helping people. And so when I see the Six of Wands there for you, the way to handle the situation is it feels like it's my job as your tarot reader. You paid good money to me by donation through the PayPal to have some reflection. So the reflection that I'm offering is, if you can squash it all down, it's basically like, take a break. Yes, these are very challenging situations. Yes, there's a lot of stress out there, but it's not the end of the world. You will handle it. And without stating the future, I feel it is my next part of my role here is to basically say, Gregory, you're going to be fine. Not only are you going to be fine, you're actually doing the right thing in the right way for the right purposes with the right people at the right time in the right place. That's a win. Put all that together. That's a win. That's coming out with a win in a very challenging situation, or multiple challenging situations. I'm not saying, go Gregory, you're a winner, you're going to be a winner. It's more like, Gregory, it's like you already know the answer. You already know that you're going to be okay. But sometimes it's hard to see that and believe it when you're in the middle of something so explosive or turbulent or cathartic in its implications. But you can handle it. The best way to handle it is to know that you're going to be okay, and just take a little bit of a break. Take your foot off the gas pedal a little bit of life. Think of your life as a journey, driving a car. Take the foot off the gas pedal a little bit, open the window, take a few breaths, and when you have a chance, pull over to the side of the road and just chillax. Whatever that means for you. Stop in at a convenience store and get a little beverage, or have a sip, whatever it is, or take a nap, something, daydream, call a friend, hang out, watch some stupid stuff on YouTube, whatever it is, or just literally stay in bed another hour or two in the morning, and you'll be fine. That's how I see it. Okay, Gregory? I hope that helps. So there you are. You picked a winner. Yay. All right, let's have a look. See what's going on here. Thank you, Gregory. Next up, we have Melissa. Thank you, Melissa. I'm going to go back in the chat to check if there's any notes from you. Hello, Jeffrey. I see you. All right. Hey, Jeffrey, I don't think I can handle one tonight. I've already got 6 more to do. And so, maybe we could do a little mini micro one during the week if you want to. Something like that. Just do a little mini micro donation. We'll arrange something in the week. It's up to you. But I don't really want to take any more bookings tonight. I'm not even going to do a group reading for everybody. I'm just going to deal with the basic readings for the folks who are here. Okay. I got to clean this up, shuffle up the deck, and we're going to start again. Little Bubba is sitting very close to my feet, being very quiet and observant. I'm not quite sure what he is thinking, but he is a cat, and he does have a very vivid imagination. He thinks that there's bugs. He knows that there's another big cat outside. Sometimes he wants to be friends. Sometimes he sees the other cat as the enemy. Hello, Elizabeth. Good evening. Thank you for visiting. Yeah, for anyone else who's here, if you've never done this before and you want to get a reading, the best thing to do is just get here immediately at 5 o'clock Pacific time on Sunday. 5 p.m. Okay? Thank you, Gregory. Thank you so much. I hope that helps you. At least get through the week. Thanks, Jeffrey. Glad you understand. All right, up next we have Melissa. Gonna have to go back because I know you came in early. Let me check this over here. Pop that over there. Shuffle these. Shuffle this one. Shuffle this one over here. Like so. And then Yvonne can go over here. And then Melanie's over here. All right, so give me a second. I'm going to try and scroll through the chat, see what we've got. Yeah, little Bubba's being very cute right now. You know how cats sometimes they... Bubba is lean. He's like a sort of... he's quite lean compared to his brother, who's quite chubby. Little Bubba, when he's sort of thinking, he stands in a very, very tall, very tall posture, very compressed. And you know that thing, he wraps his tail around his feet, and it ends up as a little tuft just around his front paws. It's all very self-contained. You've probably seen those like porcelain statues of very tall, skinny cats with the tail around their feet. Well, he's doing that right now. Very, very poised. Very, very poised. He's quite a lad. All right, let's have a look. All right, Melissa, I'm going to go. Okay, stay with me, Melissa. I'm going to scroll way, way back to up to the beginning to see if I've got... is it going to let me do this? Is it going to let me do it? It might. Let's have a look. No. Okay, I don't see any notes there. So what I'm going to do, Melissa, unless you've got something really urgent, I'm going to go on a blind reading for you, if that's okay. If you don't want a blind... If you want to... Hold on, give me a second here. I got to do something. So, Melissa, you know, a lot of times I do blind readings, which is just fine by me. It's sort of more fun, more adventurous. But if you have a very specific issue, maybe in one word, it would be like, what kind of messages, Tarot Illumination, do you have for me tonight regarding the subject of ... And that could be, you know, finance, health, spirituality, relatives, family, parents, children, house, location, economy, anxiety, whatever, love life, relationship, or something like that. But otherwise, I'll just keep going. All right, here we go. Actually, I need more beverage, okay? Let's have a look here. I'm already so thirsty. All right. Actually, I really like having Bubba around. I like being around the cats. I love the cats. They're each of them very, very different. Bonnie is skinny and very, very furry. She looks like a supermodel, like a runway model. And Boo Boo is chubby and walks slowly because it's a little uncomfortable and painful for him. And Bubba is quite lean and he's very attentive. He has a lot of facial expressions as cats go. Oh, thank you, Nikki. Let me just see that. I saw your note. So let me just see that. Nikki is saying she wants to know about her love situation with Scorpio, Sun, Taurus rising, and Moon. Love interest too. Whoa, hold on a minute. Hold on. Let me get that right. Love life for someone I have in mind. They are Scorpio, Sun, and Taurus, Moon rising. Okay, that's a very strong polarity. And I don't know, Melissa, if you're aware of it, but over the last few weeks, we've had a lot of polarity going on between the Scorpio energy over here and the Taurus energy over here. It's not quite hard oppositions at the moment, but if you look at Venus and Mercury, they're both still in Scorpio, and that's in opposition to the Taurus. So you're a Scorpio person. They would have had their sun here right now. They would have probably had a birthday fairly recently in the last 4 weeks or so. And they would have been, and you said they have, what is it? Taurus rising and moon. They have a Taurus rising and moon. So let's make this chart just for that fellow, okay? Let's put it over here. So this is your fellow, but instead of an Aries rising, he's got a Taurus rising. And he's got Taurus rising and the moon in the first house. So he might be, let's say, I would say, quite sensitive, perhaps even psychic to some degree. And he's got Scorpio in the 7th house. So when you have on a natal chart, remember this would be a natal chart, your person of interest, this would be the so-called horizon. This would be the first house over here. This would be the 7th house of marriage over here, the house of open enemies. So if he has actual planets, the sun and moon, so he's a full moon baby. He was born with the sun in Scorpio and the moon in Taurus at birth and a Taurus rising. So he's a full moon baby. So that full moon was, what was that, about 3 weeks ago. But anyway, if he's got sun in the natal 7th house, that kind of implies that he's naturally born to be in relationship. Everything is done in the context of relationship. That's what I've noticed with people who have a strong sun in the 7th house, or just have the sun in the 7th house, or a lot of planets in the 7th house. Relationships are very important, where they tend to be that person for somebody else. Now, when he has planets in the 1st and 7th house, there might be, let's say, I would say a little bit of confusion between the energy of self. The 1st house represents the energy of self and selfhood, self-identity. And when you have the moon there, there might be a sense of doubt. The moon in Taurus is actually quite strong. It's quite comfortable in Taurus. And it likes things to be earthy, sensual, safe, secure. Okay? Uranus is sitting there right now, so there's a lot of instability for the Taurus energy. The Taurus energy wants freedom. And so the idea of partnership, okay, as exemplified by his Scorpio sun in the 7th house, would be meeting with a bit of a sense of dynamic, wanting singularity, independence, bachelorhood, and that is being shaken up right now. So there's a lot of instability. He might be in a state of, let's just say, a state of awakening right now, where he's learning more and more about his true self, because also with this dynamic, he might be one of those people where he finds it very difficult to understand who he is and what his true nature is without having a really strong relationship with somebody else who can handle his energy. It's probably quite an intense energy. And, with the opposition there, in other words, it would look sort of like this, somewhere in there. He would have the sun-moon opposition, okay? And Taurus by nature is the opposite sign of Scorpio. So he might, my feeling is he might be someone who really needs a strong person to relate to him before he can have a true sense of himself in a relationship. It would have to be quite a serious relationship, quite a profound, quite an intense, probably quite physical, quite passionate, very physical, very material type of relationship that's come at it, and he would probably need that to be in a very kind of committed, intense, loyal type of dynamic. I don't see this as a trivial relationship, so it's probably a good idea that you're getting a little bit of a reading about this person. What's that, friendly? Okay. Hold on, I'm missing something there. I need to just check the chat just a little bit. Hold on. What am I missing there? Okay, so Melissa, you're a Capricorn sun. Well, lucky for you, that's actually quite a harmonious connection. When you have a Capricorn sun in relationship with a Scorpio sun, okay, that's like this little green line here. That's like a sextile. That's a very comfortable, opportunistic arrangement. They feed off each other very nicely. Scorpio energy and the Capricorn energy feeds off each other very nicely. And you, Melissa, if you're a Capricorn sun, that would really be highly appreciated by his Taurus moon. So I could easily see that there's, just from the little bits that you've disclosed here, that you might have something substantial going on here. Let's have a look. Hello, Trivia Luna from Portugal. Thank you for hanging out. I'm not taking any more bookings tonight, but you can come next week. Let's have a look. All right, let's see, Melissa, what's going on here? So that was an interesting preamble. I got a bit carried away there. Hope you don't mind. Let's see what comes up here. Let's just keep it wide open, see what the message is. Oops, there we go. All right, here's the situation, you and this fellow. Here's the challenges. And here's how we're going to handle it. And let's have a look at circumstantial energy influences. We're going to reference this tonight with the Astro Doodle like I do. Let's have a look. Okay, so we've got the World card here. So first of all, my first impression is there might be a sense of destiny about all this in such a way that, like, maybe some people meet their match. I'm not saying that this is going to be a successful relationship, but I think this relationship dynamic is definitely kind of a wake-up call for you. The chances are, my guess is that it's also a wake-up call for him as well. Like two people who might have met their match in such a way that it's the end of an old world and it's the beginning of a new world. In other words, life as you know it is about to change. And life as you're going to experience a new future is starting to unfold. Remember that we have Uranus and Taurus right here, and we just came out of the Scorpio-Taurus dynamic, okay? And we had the Scorpio new moon. Now we're heading into the eclipse, Sagittarius-Gemini. But for right now, what I'm sensing with the World card here is that there's kind of a destiny thing happening with you, Melissa, and this fellow, okay? In such a way that it's life-changing for you, it's potentially life-changing for you, it's potentially life-changing for him. Whether that happens or not, it's your choice, but it looks like one of those relationships that if it's going to happen at all, it's going to be profound, and it just changes. And you know how some people get into relationships and they think, now I can finally be me and I can get everything done that I have to do, and they don't really change, and they just build a relationship about who they are, and they just kind of go along a trajectory. Okay, but in this, what I'm sensing here is that for you, Melissa, and for this fellow, and for the world of relationships, it becomes sort of life-changing. Life-changing for you, life-changing for him. At the very core. Let's have a look. What's the situation itself? Okay, so this is a very strong indication in a relationship reading, something like a traditional old-fashioned thing that you call a marriage or a partnership, or a very, let's say, classic binding kind of situation where, for example, Melissa, if you're looking at this fellow as potential marriage partner or a potential life partner, it's very possible he could be looking at you the same way, in the kind of the old-fashioned way. In other words, well, I'm good for you. Oh, well, I'm good for you. So let's do this properly. Let's lock it up. Let's form an agreement. You know, some people have these different structures of marriage, okay, where, let's see, where, like, hold on, I need to check in with you. Like, when I'm looking at the Hierophant here, it's very much about tradition, structure, creating an order. I know a couple, they're actually separated now, but they had a beautiful original relationship and a marriage and a ceremony and a little baby girl who's now a teenager. But what they did was they created and drafted their own vows specifically for themselves with the help of one of these like online rent-a-pastor type things. And I think it actually worked really well. Instead of doing everything by the book according to some kind of religion, whatever his religion might be, or your religion, or your belief systems, or his belief systems, or your combined belief systems, what I'm sensing with the Hierophant is that, again, this is a major arcana. So again, I feel it's kind of a fated situation going on here, where it might make sense to look at the relationship as something very significant for you and for them, okay? Like, what can I do for you? And they would be asking, what can I do for you? And the things that you would look for in a really healthy, like mutually beneficial relationship are questions. For example, not being frightened to ask questions. Like, well, hey, what's the problem? Being really, really direct and open with your feelings. No fraud allowed here. Where you do everything in a traditional way, where you set standards, you set parameters, you could actually kind of write out, like in Hollywood, they call it the Bible. Like when you're writing a screenplay or television series, you create a Bible. And the Bible is the outline about what everything does and how it's going to do it over the extended future. It's like creating the storyline, and you lay it out. This is how it's going to be. Year number 1, we'll focus on this. Year number 2, we'll sort out finances, sort out, how we're going to live, where we're going to live, what is the purpose of our relationship, how am I going to relate to you? How are you going to relate to me? How are we going to respect each other's privacy and private time? All the things that go into a marriage. But this looks like it needs to be very open, very direct, very clear, and kind of formal in the old-fashioned sense. Formalized. Doesn't mean you have to go to church and get married in that sense, but it does seem to me like it would be a relationship that would really benefit from very grounded, down-to-earth, practical structures, like creating a list. It would be literally like writing it all up, okay? And doing everything by the book, doing things properly. Okay? Okay. Okay. Okay, so by the way, Melissa, There are multiple readers here, like Fritali's a reader. Nikki is kind of a psychic medium, so you're probably getting supplementary notes from other folks here tonight. So please pay attention to the chat, okay? Okay? All right. I saw your notes about fear and intimidation, okay? A Scorpio sun with a Taurus rising and a Taurus moon, that would be, they would have some kind of powerful aura, I would imagine. Now, what's the challenges here? Okay. So, Nikki, you already sensed it. You already figured it out. There might be a hidden fear in a relationship like this where there's a lot of patriarchal energy, or what do they call it? What's the word? I'm not saying machismo, but the energy of male dominance, okay? Where the male, depending on culture and upbringing or his attitude or all of those things combined, it would be very natural if you're sensing anything like this about what Nikki would say, if he's a very strong character and he has a tendency to be omnipotent or believe he is right all the time, every time, and for good reason and for good purposes, that could also be a very kind of distorted, blinkered kind of view where, again, like I said over here, when you have like a sun, when you're a full moon baby, sometimes you can't really understand who you are unless you're in a very intense relationship with someone else who can handle your energy. So if he has kind of chosen you, or if you're choosing this person, and he's very strong-natured, perhaps very almost machismo, that extremely hyper male type of energy where I am right, what I say is right, I am the law, I am the boss, I am the man, all that kind of energy. And if it goes too far, that can almost be to the point of abuse. You have to be very, very careful. So, especially with power. Like, power is great when it's used properly, but misplaced power is very unwelcome in a relationship. So if the relationship has hints of like power imbalances or power struggles, and you are already sensing it, then the chances are it's there already, okay? So, yeah, if you're... anyway, let me keep going. I want to see how we're going to deal with this. Okay, so with the Five of Cups here, okay, this is an energy of grief, an energy of loss, tragedy, it's sorrow. I don't know if you've already lost something or someone, and that's why you're considering this relationship right now. I don't know if you're looking at the relationship and you're already seeing the beginning of the end before you've even started. And you're already seeing like, oh my God, this could be awesome, but it could be terrible as well. In other words, because this is very strong energy. These three arcana here, it feels almost overwhelming, almost kind of fated, almost like you get sucked into a force field, an energy field over which you might not have control. It might feel more like fate, and then you get sucked into it, where you are getting plugged into a puzzle piece, as though you are a piece of a puzzle. Hold on. So, Melissa, I don't want to knock this relationship or knock this guy, but I've seen relationships that change dramatically on marriage. I've seen relationships change where the fellow changes. The fellow might be very gracious, very charming, very appealing, very desirable. And then the closer you get, you start to discover nuances and layers and things that kind of don't match up. And you start to, what might have appeared to be a very respectful courtship or a passionate embrace or a moment of tenderness can, this is going to sound awful, but it can be a setup to see what you're made of, to test you, find out, like, guys do that. I mean, women do it to guys, guys do it to women. They kind of set each other up, they test each other a little bit to find out each other's strengths and each other's weaknesses, so that you can learn about each other. And what I'm sensing here is that this particular fellow, it has this sort of omnipotence, which in some ways can be very, very appealing, but it's sort of energy, you don't want to be on the wrong side of that energy. In other words, the emperor energy, for example, it's great when it works. Like if you are, let's say, cherished and treated like a queen, to match the emperor, the empress matches the emperor, where there is mutual respect, mutual power, and so on, that's great. But if there's an imbalance of power where it's all about him, all about the machismo, the structure, the tradition, and you have been selected as a potential mate to be plugged into that paradigm, that's a very different scenario. I don't call that love. I call that like arranged marriages, those kinds of things. And then you discover, like in the structure of marriage, that the person that you thought you married, or the person that you believed in, turns out to be something completely different. And sometimes you don't know until after you've signed a contract. You have to figure out, is that where you want to go? So to me, it looks like the relationship is very tempting. It looks like it has a lot of potential to be very rewarding, but it also looks a bit lopsided in such a way that when anything goes wrong, it would never be his fault. And when things have to get done, they have to get done his way. And that creates a certain imbalance, the way I look at it. It looks like it's very imbalanced, unbalanced, but it also looks very appealing. There's a lot of factors that look very appealing. So I would exercise extreme caution at this point, okay? Okay? Hold on, what are these notes? I got to check that. So Nikki and Melissa, if you guys need to, just keep sorting things out between yourselves. I have to keep going. I've got more readings to do. But Melissa, please take heed of those notes from Nikki. Nikki is kind of like a medium psychic and does remote viewing and things. And if she senses something, I would take it with some credibility and factor that into the reading. Just regard this as an enhanced reading. Okay, it's not just me. There's everyone else here. There's a kind of vortex energy field. It's working for all of us. We're sharing it, and Nikki's there. So pay close attention to Nikki's notes, okay? Let's move on, people. All right, so next up, Tina. Tina, you've been with Tarot Illumination since almost the beginning. You've been so supportive. You've gone through a lot. We've worked together. You've hung out together with lots of us. You've kind of formed relationships with some of the other Tarot Illumination love tribers, and that's great. It's very comforting because I kind of feel this sort of like as family. All right, Tina. So let me just reshuffle these again. So next up we have Tina, then Ivona, then Courtney, then Yvonne, and then Melanie. Okay, so that's how we're going to do it. Actually, I want to space these. Sorry, I'm being all Virgo-ish now. There we go. I am here. Hello, Love Triber. All right, let's have a look. I'm going to keep going. Thank you, Melissa. I wish you all the best. If you have to, check in with us again, and we'll follow up on this. There's lots of amazingly powerful women here who have a lot of experience in many aspects of life: finance, health, legal, love, relationships, business, all sorts of things. So Melissa, just I invite you to just take advantage of everyone and anything that's here, okay? All right, Tina, so I'm just going to kind of go for it. Hey Melissa, I just saw the note there. Some people tell you it's a connection with a soulmate or a twin flame. Fine. Those are popular, let's say, catchphrases. What's most important, Melissa, is that you really, really focus on the self. What is your heart telling you? What is your truth, okay? And be very, very objective. Sounds like you're dealing with someone who's actually quite, I would say, strong, perhaps mesmerizing, and even very captivating. And so you really need to be very strong in yourself to be able to resonate that at those levels with that person. Okay. Anyway, let's keep going. We're almost shuffled up. Almost there. Let's bless this deck. Bless every single card. Bless the channel. Bless all the viewers, the electricity, the staging, the lights, the cameras, the technologies, the software, the wires, the microphones, the electricity, all of it. That's what allows us to do this stuff. As challenging as our circumstances might be, we still have this. We still got this. I do feel like, sorry, I need more. I don't know. Cheers, Tina. Mm-hmm. All right, let's have a look. I had one of those little moments just now, Tina. I'll just share with you. Sometimes when I'm doing this stuff, I get very, very spacey. And when I factor in like the Scorpio energy and all the, the moon and Neptune and Pisces, it's very, what's the word? Spiritual, I guess. What other word? It's that kind of energy. It feels there. It feels very rich tonight. It feels very succulent. But sometimes it's also hard to navigate, like keeping your bearings, because it's very swirly. I feel a lot of connection between here and here. Sometimes, you can get your bearings out of whack, and I kind of have to go. So what was happening when I was just shuffling just now? I could feel it in myself, like I didn't say it out loud, but I was saying, "Oh my gosh, I hope my invisible friends can just get really extra close tonight, because I need the extra sense of support that I often take for granted, but I need to know it's right here, right now. Thank you. And of course they're like, well, don't worry, calm down, we got it, we're right here. It's that kind of energy, okay? That's all it is. Sometimes I just need to know. Nebulous, the perfect word. Thank you, Elizabeth. All right, here we go. Hi, Tina. Hope all is good. All right. So here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. And let's have a look at the weather today. So we got the Emperor here. Now I'm sensing this in a very different energy to what I saw earlier in that other reading, okay? Okay. So, with the Emperor here, the way I'm sensing it in this reading for you right now, it's like I saw a note there, something about your boundaries are being pushed. All right, so if your boundaries are being pushed, let's preface that for your whole reading here. To me, this is a strong indication that it's really, really important to step into your own power right now and literally display that power in a way that's not brutal or mean or offensive or, let's say, the energy of a bully. But it's very, very important in your world right now, Tina, that everybody know who's the boss. Okay? And if you are being challenged, if you're being like swirled, if things are swirling around for you right now, and let's say in certain relationship dynamics, you're sensing that there's a lot of push-pull that is either unethical or unwarranted or misplaced or confusing or disruptive, or someone is trying to undermine you, or some people are trying to undermine you, or circumstances are undermining you in some way, and you're having trouble keeping harmony in these relationships, I think the only way to handle it is to be very, very, very clear, if necessary, so to hold your ground, make it very, very clear. Sometimes, I mean, this is going to sound awful. Okay, I'm just going to do a demonstration here. Okay? Everybody's different. I was born in a hyper-abusive environment, not physical, but in other ways. And one of them was verbal. And so I'm very, very scared of loud noises and yelling and screaming and arguments. People who have verbal arguments. I'm so scared of it because of the trauma as a child that I tend to just go numb, or I just disappear, or I remove myself from the conflict because I don't like being involved in conflict. Some people love it. They're always hostile. They're always right in your face, like, oh, what? And I'm not that. I sometimes might come across as a bit docile or wimpy, or I'm just trying to avoid a fight, just to avoid a fight when I should stand up and be strong in a situation. And the reason I don't go into like verbal combat is because I know from personal experience what happens is I can go from very serene to hyper blunt in a matter of a few seconds. And people who don't know me would never know, because everybody assumes that I'm kind of a nice guy. But if someone does take me to the limit, believe me, you do not want to cross my path, okay? Because I've had to do some very despicable, not despicable things, but very, very strong-handed actions in order to maintain stability and equilibrium in such a way that's very destabilizing for other people. And I don't like going that way. I don't like going that far. But if I get that far, I just go full on. It's just black and white for me. If I have to go ballistic, I will go ballistic. But it's usually very compressed. Like if somebody is out of whack. The reason I'm relaying this to you, Tina, is because if things have been going along in a kind of like semi-diplomatic manner where things have become kind of sloppy in relationship dynamics, where there's a loss of balance of power and equilibrium, it might have to be, I'm going to see if I can do this without blowing up the cameras or the lights or the microphones. But it could be a moment like, hey, wake up! One of those moments like, or excuse me, where you literally have to insert yourself in a very unambiguous way to let everybody know, excuse me, okay, I am Tina Miller and I am here for a reason and a purpose. However you want to dress that up. But what I'm sensing here is that it's very important that if you have to be prepared now to exert maximum power to maintain authority, maintain your integrity, maintain your status, your power, your respect, okay? That's what I'm sensing here with the Emperor for you right now. Sorry, I had to go extreme because I had to kind of act it out for you. All right, here's the situation. Okay, so if there... Oh, it's funny, we had these in last... Anyway, never mind. So, with the Five of Cups here, the energy of tragedy, grief, trauma is very obvious. It might be right in your face. Okay? Now, Tina, also you know, because you're pretty astute at this stuff, you can reinterpret this however you want. But if there's a situation of loss and grief to the point where things are not tenable anymore in a relationship or a series or a group of relationships or a situation or a location or a dream or an ambition or a purpose, and it all looks like it's already lost and broken, then so be it. And if that's so, then it is kind of tragic and sad. And then, you know, what now? What are the problems here? Sometimes tragedy happens. Sometimes really painful things. No matter your best efforts, no matter your kindness, your patience, your generosity, no matter your best of intentions, failure and loss can still happen because some of these things are completely out of your control. And so what do you do with that? Well, this is a kind of an energy field that you do not want to repress. You do not want to pretend it's not there. One of the worst things you can do, if there is grief, a sense of loss, failure of some kind in love and relationships, either for yourself, like you're grieving for yourself, or because of family situations or whatever, because something isn't working out, it's better just to admit it and accept it and deal with it rather than go along in kind of like a fake bubble of like as if everything's nice, okay? All right, let me have a look at this. What's the challenges here? Oh gosh. So we've got the Five of Pentacles. So my feeling is that if you're scared deep down of having to admit, like you might have made some decisions that you regret, or other people might have made decisions that they regret in relationships specifically that relate directly to you. You know, whether it's siblings, in-laws, kids, grandchildren, locations, friends, family, whatever it is. If this sense of loss here, whatever it might be, if there's been a death in the family or something like that, a really tragic loss, if you're scared that that's going to turn into like an extended material loss and failure, like you know what happens, like sometimes when a relationship is broken, it can leave a scar for life. Okay, so what I'm sensing here is that with the Five of Cups and the Five of Pentacles next to each other, there's some kind of unmistakable loss or bereavement of some kind. And to me, it looks like the question is this going to be a permanent, unhealing, lifetime wound where it's a total loss, a total write-off, and you end up with deep regrets and deep sorrows because of well-intended decisions that didn't quite work out the way you hoped or everyone else hoped. So how are we going to deal with that? This to me looks like a very tough, difficult, awkward, very uncomfortable reading. You've got a lot of courage, Tina, for coming here tonight and hold of this, okay? Oh my gosh. So that's really unfair. This is poverty in relation. You might be getting screwed over, taken advantage of, depleted. Obviously, pentacles, economic depletion here. So how do we deal with it? Okay, to me it looks really simple. With the Two of Wands here, the best thing to do is, like I said, go back to the beginning. You can't let this go on. This cannot continue, and this exploitation, let's just call it what it is, okay? Whatever it is, it's unacceptable, and somebody has to call it out. Someone has to be the boss here. If you're getting played, if you're getting depleted because they know that you're kind and loving and caring, and you have the capacity to cover all these kind of things, that's still not healthy. It's still not acceptable. It's like the energy that you're getting played. So the way to handle it is to literally move on. It's time to look to new ways of dealing with these things. To me, I mean, I almost would rather see the Six of Swords here, but we're not quite at that kind of energy. To me, it looks like we have to deal with this in its stark reality. I just saw your notes there, and it does not look good. Okay, it does not look good at all for you, Tina. Seems like you're getting played, and so the best thing to do is basically let's put it right out in the open. This is unacceptable. You have to get back into your selfhood and assert yourself in a way that's probably that you would not want to do. You know how I talked about at the very beginning of the reading? You might have to do something really, let's say, very extreme to exert dominance and control of the situation. Otherwise, it's just gonna like get worse and worse. That's the fraud energy, okay? That's the fraud energy. You're getting defrauded, okay? It's not acceptable. It's coming out. It's out in the open. It's being revealed here in public. And it has to be dealt with face on. Literally face on. Having to confront the people who and the person that are basically playing you, screwing you over because of your kindness and generosity. And the way to do that is, number one, understand that you're going to have to step up, but it could also indicate withdrawing and then moving forward, or literally time to look at new horizons, new lifestyles, new ways of living, new directions, new pathways, new destiny, because you do not want to be in a situation where you're getting played, where you're getting rolled over. That's not good. That's not loving. There's nothing healthy about that. No one's going to benefit out of it except for the player. who are exploiting you. Okay? So it's like I did at the very beginning of your reading. This is a moment where you literally have to come in with full force and say, you know what? Enough is enough. Literally, like you have to blow. It's almost like you have to blow yourself up to the size of like the emperor energy when the emperor is disrespected. You do not want to be on that side of the emperor energy. When the emperor energy is angry, it's literally like, it's fearsome. And so my feeling is that it's time for you to become and take on and express emperor energy with no apologies. Absolutely no apologies. You just go big and you say, enough is enough is enough. This is not acceptable. And you just kind of go like an execution. And then you move on. Two of Wands. You just move on like clear. I dealt with that. Screw that. Now, what am I going to do? What now? What now? Dealt with that. And then whatever things that are bad that happen to the people who are playing you, that's their problem. It's not yours. You don't have to carry everybody's weight. You don't have to be a martyr. Remember, the moon is in Pisces right now, conjunct Neptune. That's a very strong indication of martyrdom. Martyrdom is when you take the energy of compassion to the point of being a compassion junkie, to the point where you're martyring yourself for other people, where the other people have no respect. That's not love. That's not acceptable. Okay? So you're going to have to get really tough and take total command and control. Get right in their face if you have to. And to the point where you literally, I don't care what I have to say or how I have to say it, but this is not going to go on anymore. No more. No, no, no. All right? Okay? All right. Thank you. Off with their heads. Yeah. Thank you, Nikki. Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting eclipse. It's coming up around November 30th, and the energy is going to build up to that moment in time. I'm looking at it on a macro scale to do with global economics, American politics, and so on and so on. But it's going to affect everybody in some way or another, okay? Hi Nikki, yes, I like the Pisces moon energy too. I'm very comfortable with Pisces moon energy. Thank you, Tina. Thank you for your kindness and generosity over the years. Ivona, you're up next. Now, I know you put some notes in there. I can't remember, so I'm going to have to scroll through the chat, see if I can get back far enough to capture the chat notes. All right. Thank you, Tina. So we're going to read for Ivona, then it's Courtney, then Yvonne, then Melanie. All right, so let's have a look. Hey, song time. Oh, okay. Alright, well actually if I do a song time, then that will give me a chance to get a little bottle of wine in a glass. That could be fun. I know, I'm going to play the fighting song, okay? This is for Tina, but it's good for everybody. It's like a power song To me, it's like I'm going to play it. Thank you, Nikki. I'm going to play a Terra Lumination song called Fighting Well. It's got a really kind of pounding beat to it. It's kind of like the sort of energy that you would have as you're getting ready to become a prize fighter in one of those world wrestling cage fights, okay? You know, you want to get it on? You want to take me on, huh? You want to take me on, huh? You really want to go there, huh? Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. I got my moves. I got my moves, okay? Bring it on. My immune system's fighting well. My immune system's fighting well. My T cells are fighting well. My T cells are fighting well. Those are the only lyrics to the song, but it's all about getting into your power, claiming your power, getting yourself in full, let's say, fighting, what's a fighting fit, whatever that word is, you know. I think I was in the military many, many lifetimes. I'm not in the military this lifetime. Everybody thinks I am, but I'm not. So thank you, Nikki. I'm going to play that song. It's called Fighting Well. It's got a kind of a pounding beat. Sometimes I like to get up and move to it. You know, I kind of do my little yoga exercise workout things. It's very conducive. Let's have a look. Okay, Ivona, let me get back to your notes in a minute. I want to get this song set up, okay? Here it goes. It sounds like this. Okay, so, all right. Okay, let me get back over here a second. All right, so I did what I said I was going to do. I saw some notes there about you, Ivona. So dealing with issues about a house that you saw. Obviously, it's stimulated you in some way, making you thinking of moving and so on. Thank you. Get your moves on there, Nikki. So I'm now switching to fermented grape juice. Thank you very much. I'm going to put this over here. I'm going to put this in out of harm's way. I'm going to have a sip. Here we go. Hello, Sarah. Sarah Lake Mitchell, Oh, there you go. Yeah, I caught somebody watching my show on a big screen. It's crazy. It's really weird. Anyway. Oh, it's not. It's just bigger. It makes me feel like I'm a star. All right, let's go over here. I just want to check in. Hello, Ivona. So I checked your notes. Apparently you've got something has piqued your interest regarding a house. Considering moving. Okay. So we'll look into that. We'll take it very gently. Remember, we're heading up to an eclipse in about 1 week. We've got kind of a quirky eclipse. It's sitting on the North Node, Gemini North Node, and it happens to line up with the president, okay? And it happens to line up with the global North Node all simultaneously. And I just think it's kind of quirky. Eclipses in general, I see them as evolutionary gateways. I think what's going to happen is, to me, the theme on a global scale is coming down to Earth. The Sagittarius North Node is very much about really big energy, living larger than life, being very bold, believing in oneself, one's invincibility, one's own natural wisdom, and it's infallible. Think of the Sagittarius in its most powerful and strongest vibration and its most healthy vibration. It's wonderful, exciting, dynamic. It's constantly learning. The more it learns, the more it wants to learn, and then it just has so much. Then what do you do with that? Okay, eventually, coming down to Earth, what do you do with all that wisdom? So the North Node is all about, to me, it's all about bringing all that wisdom down to Earth into little tiny nuggets that is digestible by the average human being. I mean, okay, so, wherever, I'll have to go to the stage again, hold on. So for obviously anyone who's a very strong Sagittarius or a Gemini right now, this eclipse is going to be interesting and fun. Okay? But this eclipse, or especially this point here, I think it's about 10 degrees Gemini. It's going to be about 10 degrees Sagittarius. This point is going to be the hot spot of the eclipse. And everybody has this point in their chart somewhere, It's going to land somewhere. So that's where it's going to affect you. Now, we can go into that in detail in personal consultations, but right now for tonight, I just wanted to emphasize that this is where the action is going to be next weekend, and we're building up to it now, okay? And I think it's all about getting very, very crystal clear, understandable facts and information, not concepts, not theories, not belief systems. We're just talking about basic facts, and they have to be unambiguous. No fraud, no fakery, not allowed. Ah, Tina's made a very important note there. Look, she's got North Node 21 degrees Gemini. Okay, well that's 10 degrees off, but still, the Gemini North Node, that particular moment in astrological history, it's coming up here in about a week. So, for example, for Tina, she might have a real moment of profound, very kind of blunt, kind of shocking awakening where things become very, very crystal clear. Very crystal clear in terms of communications, for better or worse. And I think that's a good thing. All right, Ivona, let's have a look here. Remember, I'm not an expert on real estate, but I kind of enjoy. I've lived in a lot of different places and a lot of different arrangements and situations, houses, cities, farms, countries, different countryside and cityfied and all those kind of things. And I'm very domestic by nature. So I'm going to just come at it from a kind of a fuzzy-wuzzy kind of perspective. Okay, Ivona? Looks like Nikki's anticipating a fun full moon eclipse. Yay! No jumpers, no flyers, no oracles. Okay, my invisible friends are telling me to concentrate. Alright, here we go. All right, let's have a look. See, what's the situation here about the house? What's the challenges here? How are we going to handle it? Let's have a look at the big picture, the surrounding energy, the influences, planetary influences, economic influences, whatever that might be. Let's just have a look. So we have the Nine of Cups here. So it's almost like, to me, it feels like, do whatever makes you happy. If it makes you happy. Okay, sorry, that's wrong because the rest of the lyrics don't work. But anyway, my feeling is that with the Nine of Cups here, regarding this house, what really, really counts, to me, it's almost like ridiculously simple. If it turns you on and everything seems to line up, and the money is right, and you can let go of the old place and get the new place. The only thing that really counts is that you feel happy with this. Not anyone else. You don't have to do this to satisfy or please anybody else. What I'm sensing is that the best way to look at the house, I'm not saying go and buy it. All I'm suggesting is to make it very, very, very simple. Like if you're looking at the house and you're going to go and look at it 2 or 3 times before you make any kind of decisions, I think the way to look at it is like, well, maybe not necessarily is the paint exactly right, or is the street location exactly perfect, or is the pricing exactly perfect, and is the investment opportunity exactly perfect? You know, all the traditional business common sense parameters that go with very big decisions of buying and owning and selling houses. You know, it's a place where you live. And when I see the Nine of Cups there, to me it's very, very simple. It's really simple. Let's just say, it's almost like you have to fall in love with the house. You have to fall in love with the, almost like, not a fantasy, but you actually have to see yourself and feel yourself being there and being happy. And if that is not the case, then it's not the house for you. What really counts is that you have to feel it. It's almost like it was meant to be. Like, And if it's not that, then it's an illusion. It's an optical illusion, okay? So you have to be very careful, because who knows? Whatever is motivating you or driving you to look at other places might be anything to do with like boredom with the existing place, or a feeling of stagnation, or urge to move on and solve problems. Like, for example, today, I reached a point where I couldn't solve any more problems in my head, so I literally just had to go out. I just had to get up and go out and make myself happy by separating myself from whatever the issues were, okay? So, I mean, it sounds simplistic. It sounds like I'm trying to be really simplistic here, and but in a way it is. Like, one of the worst things is to get a place, move into a place, and you've convinced yourself that it's awesome, but deep down inside in your heart, it's not. And then you realize it, and it's too late. I'm not happy here. I'm not happy. So with the Nine of Cups there, for that environmental influence, to me, it's basically a very simple message. Like, the most important thing is that you feel happy. Happy would include everything. It works in a way that is acceptable. Like, the price is okay, the location's okay, it's good for the pets, it's good for me. I just feel good. It just makes me feel good. I feel like I'm happy when I'm there. All those kind of ingredients, in some ways you don't even have to have any logic to it. It's just about being happy. All right, let's have a look. What's the situation itself? Okay, so with the Lover's energy here, it looks like it's kind of a serious, like you're actually quite serious about this, Ivona. Like you're actually looking at this as a serious move. Like, wow, I might actually be getting rid of my house and getting a new house. And that's a very big decision. And so when you had the Lover's card here, part of it in some ways looks like it's a little bit divinely ordained, but not necessarily that you're going to get the house, but you have to live through this experience of considering whether you're going to get this house or not. Because what happens is that if there is an illusion, if it is an optical illusion, and you are, let's say, seduced by the architecture or the paint or the colors or the presentation from the realtor and all of those things, and yet the house is, let's say, flawed in some way, that's going to be a problem. We haven't seen the rest of it yet, but what I'm saying is that, let's just say you want to buy the house and you buy it and you move into it, you get everything that comes with it. You get all the sweet stuff and the good stuff that comes with it, and you get all the responsibilities and problems that come with home ownership. You know, fixing a leaky roof, fixing the gutters, homeowner's insurance, everything that comes with it. In other words, you get the house and you get all the baggage that comes with it. You know, there might be new forms of new taxes or something, or property taxes that you didn't anticipate. So with the Lover's card here, my feeling is that it's an indication that you're in the vortex of decision making. Please, at least, at the absolute minimum, wait until the full moon eclipse and see how you feel before doing anything. Do not make any decisions now. Just understand that you're in the vortex of decision making. What's the problem with this? Okay, to me it looks like you're scared of trusting your intuition. You're scared of making a decision because you're scared that you don't have all the facts, you don't have all the information. You might be scared that it is kind of an optical illusion. You might be scared that you're considering this house as a way to escape whatever problems that you have right now. Like I was talking about today, I just had to go out to escape. I had to escape. And it really made a difference. When I came back, I was much stronger in my ability to handle my challenges and tasks and chores and everything. But I could not keep pushing myself. So for example, Ivona, this whole thing about considering your house might be just like a spiritual, emotional, psychological exercise to discover what it means to be happy. Is your happiness coming into the future, is it contingent on a house, selling an old house and getting a new house? My feeling with the Two of Swords here is that right now you don't know, and you couldn't possibly know because you're living in the vortex of that Moon-Neptune alignment where you don't have to have a decision right now. It's more just about intuiting and sensing and feeling the situation. Literally like, you know how animals sense things through their whiskers. Okay, Ivona, I know you have pets, and they have whiskers around their nose and their eyes and their face. And those whiskers are sort of like the swords here. They're very, very powerful, like antenna. And they pick up a lot of information on a very subliminal level, which leads these beautiful furry friends to make their decisions. And so my feeling here, the Two of Swords, is that you might be in a situation where you're scared of making a bad decision because you don't have all the facts, you don't have all the information. That's perfectly understandable. In fact, I would be surprised if you weren't scared. So how are we going to deal with this house situation thing? Okay, so this is going to be like an open-ended reading. There's no conclusion here. With the 11, with the Justice, I think the facts and the information will unfold. In other words, you will need to know when you need to know it, and it will be very clear. My feeling is like, at least wait until this full moon eclipse. Let reality expose and express itself, and do not marry yourself to a predetermined outcome like, oh my God, if I don't get this house, I could lose this chance forever. Or like, if I don't get this house, I could be miserable forever. There's no point in operating that way. My feeling is to understand the depths of the situation, the implications of the situation. Take some time. Allow this to mature. Are you really happy? Are you really, truly going to be happy there? It's a big decision. You do not have all the facts and the information yet. You need more time. When the time is right, you will make the right decision. Absolutely the right decision. With no apologies and no looking back. Okay? The decision might be, wow, whew, I'm glad I really didn't buy that thing. It was an optical illusion. Or you might realize, you know what, I've done my homework, I've done my due diligence, I've checked all the, the appraisals, I've talked with the realtor, I've talked with my bank, I've done all my homework, and I've gathered all the information I need, and I realize, you know what, I am happy. This is going to work. It's the right decision, and then you do it. But right now, at this moment in time, this reading is not telling you anything about whether you get this house or not. This is about you living through the decision-making process and getting to the point where you can really, truly filter and understand whether you would be happy in this house or with this house. And then once you understand, once you have all the facts and all the information, then you do what you have to do, and exactly the right outcome will be determined, and you will be just fine. In other words, you'll be just fine if you realize, like, this was not real for me after all. And you will be just fine if you realize this is just the right thing for me, and it will be just fine. Either way, you will be just fine. But you have to live through the decision-making process. You have to live through the process of due diligence. You have to do your due diligence, okay? In other words, you can't just rely on what the realtor tells you. You can't rely on just the whims of the moment. You have to check into everything, okay? like the previous owner's history. You might want to check out the neighborhood. You know, you can go into these websites and check out what's it like in the neighborhood. What's it like for schools, crime, policing, sanitation, community protection programs, all those kinds of things. You want to find out, like, in other words, one of the things that's really good to do is ask if you can meet the neighbors. Okay? Go knocking on some doors. Hey, I'm very interested in this house over here. Are you the neighbors? Have you been in here a long time? Do you have anything you can tell me about the house or the history of the house and so on? I know it's a bold thing to do, but knocking on the neighbors' doors can be very, very informative. Okay? Okay. So, to me, it's all about this little card. Gathering in the information that you need so that you're not just relying on the whims of the moment or fantasies or fake presentation. In other words, if it's a very glossy, capable, successful real estate agent and they're doing a very good job of selling to you, you don't want to do that in case the property is flawed. You really want to know the truth, the reality. Okay? Because you cannot afford to get a house that is a house of cards or where you regret it. Like, it looked cute on paper, the paint looked good, and then you realize, oh my God, the foundations are crumbling or the roof needs replacing. You don't want to get into all that. You need to find out all that stuff in advance, okay? Then make your decisions, and you will make the right decision, okay? All right. Looks like a lot of you guys are doing backup and support readings for each other. That's fantastic, because I can't do it all. I hope this helps you, Ivona. Please be prepared for feedback from others here on the site and the channel tonight, because there's a lot of activity there. I hope it helps you. Courtney, you're up. We're going to read for Courtney now, and then Yvonne, and then Melanie. So, Melanie, please be patient. It's going to be a while, okay? Oh, okay, Courtney, it sounds like, oh, I'm so excited to see what comes up. So are you giving me the green light to do a complete blind reading? Because that will be fun. I love to do those. All right, let's have a look. Let's see. All right. Just want to check in. Hi, Courtney. Just checking in. Just settling. You know, we're going to be here for a little while longer. Got to read for Courtney, then Yvonne, then Melanie. Okay. Are there any members here who would like to have a get-together on Friday evening, end of next week? It'll be just a couple of days before the eclipse. I'm considering hosting a Friday evening gathering. We could talk business. Okay. Just thought I'd put that out there while we're live. Okay, Courtney, we're going freestyle. I'm not a rapper, by the way. I couldn't rap if I tried. All right, let's have a look. Oh gosh, I'm noticing something going on here with Path Traveler and Ivona, because you guys need to connect up a little bit. There might be some, what's the word? Common ground here. Oh, Jeffrey. Thank you, Jeffrey. I don't think I can handle any more readings. I was trying to drop a hint earlier. Oh, maybe we could book something in the week, just a little micro reading or something, you know? Thank you, Jeffrey. I'll check it after the show. I'm sure it will be there. It always works. Hey, Courtney, just for reference, I kind of have a permanent ongoing relationship with my invisible friends, and they are aware of who I am and how I am and the way I am, and they accept me that way, and we're kind of like a team, and they know, like what I was talking about with the moon conjunct Neptune in Pisces tonight right now. For me, it's personally very comfortable, even if it's very susceptible to like being nebulous. That was Elizabeth's word. And so what they did is, like when I was shuffling the cards, I was all over the place. I was thinking about property, real estate, housing, renovating furniture, cats, outer space. I was thinking about like feeling really good in the moment, because I'm tuned into that the sextiles with the Scorpio, Capricorn, Pisces thing, and the Taurus, all of that. And then they kind of went like it's almost like they grabbed me by the shoulders very gently and said, "Teal, it's just focus, okay? You still have some more readings. You need to focus now. It's Courtney's turn, so just get on with it, okay? Don't worry." In a nice way. And so I just wanted to let you know that, Courtney. So it becomes personal. It's real. It's you and me. We're doing this. It's you and me. Plus my invisible friends, of course. Plus your invisible friends, of course. Thank you, Jeffrey. Okay, so we'll follow up. We will follow up. Okay. We'll do it by email. We'll set something up. Thank you, Jeffrey. All right, here we go. I feel a strong presence of invisible friends, just letting you know. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. Now, of course, you know, when we do a blind reading, absolutely anything and everything can happen. I don't know you personally, Courtney, but it's strange things that happen in the world of tarot and astrodoodles. Psychic mediums all around the place, over there on the chat. Readers, healers, all of that good stuff. So we have the Fool card. Whoa, okay. To me, this is exciting. To me, this is the energy of sacred opportunity, like without boundaries. You know, the aces are often, I think of them as the energy of sacred opportunity. But with the Fool card here, my feeling is that it's time for you to like look at your world in a whole new way. New starts and new beginnings. We just came out of the Scorpio new moon. It was very intense. And now we're heading into a very different energy of the eclipse, the Sagittarius sun and the Gemini moon. And what I'm sensing here is like it's time for you, Courtney, to open yourself up to the concept of adventure. It's time to allow yourself to like go big, to expand, to at one moment like maybe go learn some kind of yoga meditation thing where you can develop your abilities to connect with the great beyond. Okay, like you feel like, oh my God, I'm really connected. Like, holy, I had no idea what it was like out there. There's my archangels, my guardian angels, my invisible friends. There's my past lives. There's my future lives. There's everything. Everything's out there. And then you kind of go, well, wait a minute. That's insane. You can't live like that. So how are we going to bring that down to earth? Think of it as an adventure. What I'm sensing here with the Fool card for you, Courtney, is that it's time to literally look at your life almost like a never-ending story.